Today on Car Traction we are going to be heading out to a little breakfast car meet in the wonderful 1947 Dodge pickup. It's a half-ton pickup, and I know this actually hasn't featured on the channel for quite a while. It's just sort of whether you tend to keep these things a little bit tucked away. Usually it's just the standard that comes out at this time of year, but today we are going to be taking this magnificent original old truck and I will be showing you how we fire it up. So with no further ado, let's see how you fire up an old vintage truck like this. Now, of course, we have our handy LED light here. Hopefully you can see, as it is a Dodge, it's the same with the big 3-ton truck there. Battery is down here, underneath the floor, which is that just a thing with Dodges?
I think it's the same with quite a few old trucks.
This is going to be a little bit awkward to get to, but it's okay.
Nip it up.
That's all right there. It's not going anywhere. Then we've got our little panel here, which we put back there, because of course it is a Dodge. And now, where are the keys, Dad?
You might want the key up.
We didn't plan this right, did we? No. Little Chevy on the keys there for our Dodge.
Indeed.
So of course the key goes in upside down because that's just the way old trucks are. Turn it on, and if this truck is 3-speed, forwards is there and reverse is there, so you're going to make sure it's not going to run away anywhere. So the ignition's on now. We're going to use this. This is the throttle, which is the choke, which changes the mixture of fuel and air going into the carb.
And then need a little bit less, maybe.
Yeah. To be honest, when this thing fires up, you can push it in anyway. Yeah. Then we've got the accelerator here. This is an accelerator pump. So when we press that, that will sort of prime the car with fuel. So we give that a few presses, make sure everything's in neutral, and then no sort of pull starter on this. We've got this sort of pedal down here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll fire up. On the gas quickly, and there we go. Probably already pushed the choke in a little bit. Now it's an absolutely cold start, and that's not bad, is it? This truck hasn't been out for a while.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. So we'll let the 3.6 straight 6 warm up. We lost the wiper. That wasn't very good. It was using obviously the vacuum to go like that, but eventually I think it got stuck up here and it's just come off. Didn't exactly see where it went. Here it is.
Yeah, it sort of went around up here somewhere, like that. And then for some reason,
the wind might have caught it or something, I don't know. Well, you know, onwards. Onwards we go. Try not to knock it into gear as I slide across. Few classic cars rolling in now on this misty morning. I believe this is a Volkswagen Derby predating the Jetta. Yeah, so as it's a Mark 1, it predates the Volkswagen Jetta, so that's actually a Volkswagen Derby, which is an extremely rare car. And just behind it is a very cool looking Beetle. Well, I think we'll start having a little look around all the beautiful classic cars that are here so far at the Crewe Heritage Breakfast Classic Car Meet, first of which has to be this absolutely stunning Ford Mk1 Escort. It's got a really, really lovely sounding, a very powerful Lotus engine up front. The owner of this car has a Mk1 Lotus Cortina, which you've probably seen before on the channel, but yeah, this is his more sporty car, I'd say. The Lotus Cortina is a very, very original car. It's a concours car, but this one's had quite a few upgrades. It's always fettling it, and it did sound very, very tasty on the way in. Super, super cool 60s saloon. Yeah, that's such an incredible looking car, that. Really, really love that. It's had it here a few times. Once it's had a little bit of paint work done recently. This one's a bit more of a user than the Lotus Cortina. But yeah, that is one of my favourite cars. I always love to see it just because it looks so, so cool. Super cool, sort of sporty saloon of the 60s. And of course with that twin cam soundtrack up front. Yeah, that's a great old car. Next up is this very, very cool old VW Beetle. It's a 1955 car, and as you can see, this one sits quite low. It's on air ride suspension, which originally, being a 55, this would have been a 6-volt car, but we were chatting to the owner earlier. It's converted it to 12-volt for like the compressors and stuff for the air ride suspension. And one thing about this car is it's absolutely stunning on the inside. I'll have a look around the other side. I think it's got a few Porsche bits on it. It's got some lovely Porsche wheels on it. Really love the look of those rims. Lots of negative camera at the back. It's a beautiful colour, this car as well, isn't it? Haven't had a close look at it in a while. Yeah, look at that interior. That just looks fantastic in there. Lovely early style of Porsche steering wheel. Nice sporty seats, little bucket seats there. They're quite cool as well. Yeah, and being a 6-volt originally, the 55 model, it's got the domed headlamps at the front, the smaller rear window, which just looks absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that's an incredible little car that I'm glad I've got a chance to closely look at it, because I haven't had that chance before. Just next to that is a Volkswagen Derby. Now, obviously amateurs may mistake this car for a Volkswagen Jetta, but no, this predates the Jetta. It's a Derby, and it's a super, super rare car, this one. I think it's also on air ride suspension. I did hear a hiss, and it did seem to sag a little bit low on its suspension when it came in. But yeah, this is a super, super car as well. Absolutely mint condition. Just look at that interior. The leather's so nice in there, just beyond the reflection of me and my camera. Got a Momo steering wheel and a very interesting gear knob. Now, those are made out of old skateboards, I think I learned the other day, which is a bit of a trend with VWs. I really, really love the wheels on this one. What are they? Turbo Compomotives. They look really, really cool on this old VW Derby. It's got the Mark 1 front, of course, being a Derby, which is probably one of the sort of trendiest fronts. It looks super, super clean. It's a great looking car, this one, and in absolutely incredible condition. It's so, so clean. And top marks for the owners, bringing out their pride and joys on this chilly and very foggy morning. And also, another interesting thing with this Derby is I've never seen a fuel filler cap there on a car like this. So I'm sure that's a little quirk of the Derby, and I wonder what it's like fueling down there. Do you think you have to get on your knees to refuel your Volkswagen Derby? Any Derby owners in the comments, let me know what refueling is like. And here we have a very, very nice looking old Daimler. Now this will be pretty much the same car as is it the Jaguar XJ40? I want to say, is it a Daimler Sovereign? Not exactly sure what these all identify as the exact model numbers, but it's basically a Jaguar. The Daimler always seems to be the slightly more upmarket car. Super, super advanced for this time. We've got some strange menu thing there, which looks very advanced for its day, but now not so much. I'm sure that's quite a comfy old car. Look at the seats in the back, wow. Yeah, so that's a super comfortable and luxurious car. Nice to see it's still on the road. I'm sure there's not that many of these Daimler variants of the Jaguar XJ40 still around. So actually, that's a really rare old car, that one. And of course, as always, we have the Ford Mustang here. This is owned by the organiser. He's still got his 2021 Drive It Day plaque on the front. We'll gloss over the fact how that's covering the front plate. But that's alright, so I'm sure it's got some form of huge V8 up front in this one. Very loud, this one. I think it's got quite a special exhaust. I really don't know much about these more modern cars like these Mustangs. But what I can tell you is, it's a Ford Mustang and it's got a massive V8 up front. Rolling in now is a Nissan Figaro and that gorgeous old Ford Zephyr. I will definitely be having a look at that. It was here last time, but I did not make a video last month. You might have seen it in Dad's video, but that's a super cool 50s saloon. Sounds lovely actually. Let's see if we can get a bit of that 6-cylinder burble as the micro-based Figaro rolls past. This car is made up entirely of new old stock parts, which is why it's got this quite cool livery, I think. But it's got a super sweet engine. The owner says it runs like a sewing machine. Beautiful car.
To see that here today.
Well, I think now we'll have a little look at this pair of 50s classic Fords. We're starting off with the Ford Popular. I've seen this car many times before. It's had a few more modern updates. Looks like its windows are fairly steamed up, but of course not steamed up as ours in the old pickup. That was a journey and a half. We have seen this car many times, so I won't repeat myself too much there, but yeah, it's a beautiful old 50s saloon. Now this car I haven't seen before. This is a Ford Zephyr, quite an early car. Isn't it interesting to think that these cars are both from very similar periods, but how much more advanced does that Ford Zephyr look? You've got an overhead valve engine in this one as opposed to the little side valve in the Ford Pop, but it's just so more advanced than the likes of the Ford Pop when it was still produced in a similar period. This car is in incredible condition, while to the untrained eye it may look like a bit of a wreck, all these parts, or at least a lot of them. I think the original colour is this cream, but from down here these are all like new old stock parts, which are really hard to find nowadays, but this car's literally just made up of them, which is what's created this quite cool livery in my opinion. But it's a super solid car. The owner's sort of debating whether to paint it or not, but to be honest I think it looks really cool like that. The engine runs like clockwork in this. I think there's a little electric problem we were looking at when it just rolled in, but it's a super cool oily rag car there. Next to its somewhat more dated looking partner, the Ford Popular, but yeah, great comparison. That's probably like 53 or something, and this is probably only a couple of years later, but you know, what an evolution in design. And back again is this Triumph 2000 Estate. It's a Mark II car, but these of course are the Mark 1 back. I've seen this car once before. I think it's a fairly recent purchase for the owner. Yeah, that's a cool old thing. Great practical classic there. Lovely Triumph straight six burbling away. 2-litre engine of course. Very cool car there. Lurking in this corner is a proper serious bit of kit. This is quite clearly a Land Rover Defender, short wheelbase. This is quite a rare car. It's got a 3.5 litre Rover V8 in it. And you see many of these like the Defender 90, they've got quite a rattly old diesel. You see like Defenders going around from the sort of 90s like this one, and they do sound pretty terrible, put quite a lot of smoke out. But this V8, it sounded super smooth, quite a powerful engine. It says you can go fast, I can go anywhere. I bet this thing can go fast anywhere because it's a powerful engine, and it did make a nice burble on the way in. So while it is a little bit modern, that's quite a cool thing and definitely a future classic. Got Grandad in the MGB here. Not really many updates to show on this car, to be honest. I've seen it many times before, of course. Nice to see it out once again, of course, with the merch on the back. And the MX-5. One thing that struck me the other day is the MX-5 almost comes to every single meet we go. Of course, Mum was in it today. But yeah, it's probably been to more meets than the pickup, just because no matter if we bring the Renault or the Standard or something, the MX-5 is always sort of following us behind. So yeah, this is probably one of our most used cars to shows, to be honest. So the MX-5 does see a lot of use at old car shows indeed. Over here is this wonderful little Nissan Figaro. These are based on the little Nissan Micra. I believe it's like a 3-speed auto gearbox. Tiny little transversely mounted engine up front. But these are sure to be a future classic. Very rare cars, you really don't see them out, but these are a great example. So if you want a car that looks really interesting, but you want modern reliability, then the Nissan Figaro is for you. Now we've got a Ford Granada here. This is a 2.8 6-cylinder engine. It's a gear spec car. I've seen it plenty of times before. And I think the colour on this car really does suit it. It's a really handsome car. I think these Granadas do look quite sharp, to be honest. Proper executive saloon, nice and boxy, you know. Slightly larger version of the Cortina, of course. But I think, to be honest, like the Mark 4 and 5 Cortinas, that's a really sort of sharp looking car. We've got a Daimler DS420 limousine now. Now, the untrained eye once again would say that car's what, from the late 60s or something, but I want to say this car's from like 1985 or something. They made these things for so long. And I think this car is one of them that is just far, far later than you think. I think it's 80s or something. Still using the Jaguar XK 4.2 litre engine. I think it's one of the last cars that used that engine. Just a bit of condensation at the back there. Got a great looking Ford Escort here. I like these aftermarket wheels on this one. So the period mod there, looking super, super cool. Cool hatchback shape, of course, with this mark of Escort. Is it a Mark 4, I want to say? Let me know in the comments. Got some cool Ford lamps screwed on the front there. A few badges, looking very, very cool. Yeah, rare car these days, as is the monstrous Daimler DS420. Moving on to Triumphs now. First Triumph of the day is this wonderful Mark II Triumph 2000 Estate. Now, one thing you do notice about these is the Mark II Estate still had the Mark I back, so you can see the differences. The Mark IIs had a different back. This owner's also got a white Mark II saloon, but this is the Mark I back, which has for some reason just been put on the back of the Mark II. It was actually a factory thing, it's not modified. Super, super cool inside. You can see Triumph's sort of design in this period was the same with the sort of Dolomite. You can see the arced sort of instrument panels. Oh, my hands are cold. You can see how they're arced around the driver sort of thing. They're a very advanced car for its day, these Triumph 2000s. Overdrive gearbox as well, so still a great practical classic. I'm sure you could probably get away with dailying a car like this. I'm sure it's still quite a reliable old Estate. Super practical, of course, huge amounts of space in the back. That's a really cool car, I think. I think it looks really sharp as well. I do like the tin front on the front of these Mark II Triumph 2000s as well. And I think with the Estate as well, the Estate has to be my favourite shape of car body. I think it just looks really, really sharp. And of course, it's a very, very rare variant as well. Something to note is that this Mark IV Golf has a V6. Now, this is interesting. I'm sure this car is rarer than you think, because this is a Mark IV Golf. So you had the 4-cylinder, you had the V5, which is quite a rare one. In fact, Grandad's got a V5. And I know you had the R32 V6, which was the VR6 Volkswagen engine of these. But I didn't know they just did a sort of not sporty V6 of these Golfs, you know, because the R32 is the ones with the body kit, you know, super tuned up engine, but I didn't know they did a sort of untuned V6, so probably that car is a lot rarer than you think. And while it may not look it, I'm sure there's not that many of those around. I'm sure the same can be said for this Toyota Avensis Estate. How many of these do you see anymore? Now this is an interesting one. Just next to the pair of classic Fords is a W124 series Mercedes. Now this is an interesting one. I haven't seen this car before.
For what it is.
I want to say these have like a 5 litre V8 or something. Is this one on air ride as well? Perhaps. It looks super, super low. Lots of negative camera at the back. Let's see what engine is in this one. Oh, it's been debadged. Never mind. But I think these did have like a 5 litre V8. Huge engine up front. Super cool executive saloon. I think these are quite smart cars. I love the style of the rear lights at the back. Just looks super, super cool. I can't help thinking. Huge AMG rims as well. They're absolutely immaculate. Yeah, what a spectacular car that is. Very original looking Ford Sierra here. Rare car these days. Next to that is a wonderful Austin 1100. Now this is quite an interesting car. It's offered an 8016, so it's got an A series up front, but this is a really early car. It is a 1964 car. It's in like the same family until 1971. It's quite low mileage, 39,000 genuine miles, full service history from new. It's a really interesting car, this one. I've seen it at the likes of the Hopkins House car meets. Yeah, it's an interesting one because these would have been absolutely everywhere in period, but now, especially super original examples like this, in this condition, they're just not around at all. And to be honest, it would be a good classic car to own nowadays because these were very advanced for their time. You had the really advanced suspension for their time, so I'm sure, to be honest, you could probably daily drive. Maybe not such a low mileage car like this just because it's so rare. It's up for 4975. There's the phone number, guys. Yeah, I'm sure the people who bought this new couldn't even have thought in their wildest dreams that someone in 2024 would be preserving such a original old car there. Yeah, it's a much rarer car than you think, that one, especially being so new. I'm not exactly sure when the 8016 cars came out. I know people told me in the comments it was like 62 or 63 or 64 or something, but I do know, being on a B road, this is a really, really early car, certainly in the production of the Austin 1100 range. Rolling in now is the super, super rare Fiat Punto Sporting. We're seeing a lot of rare classics here today. Close-up look at the Daimler DS420 limousine. This car is basically built for weddings, isn't it? Now, I did say this car is a lot later than you'd think. I want to say if this car's been on the block for years. It's been to so many shows. But I want to say this is like a 1985 car or something, but it really doesn't look like it, does it? It's probably quite a dated design, to be honest. It's sort of like, you know, the Beaufort limousines. I believe they have a bit of MIDI DNA in them. But yeah, super dated design for like a car that would have been made in that period, and probably, to be honest, a pretty dated engine. I think this has got the 4.2x K straight six in it, but of course it's a limousine. It needs to look old and traditional like that. You can just see from the paint job, you know, it's just made to look like weddings and stuff, isn't it? It takes me about 5 minutes to walk down the side of it. Super, super huge one. But there cannot be many of these things around at all.
Yeah, oh lovely. Yes, yes.
Engine exposed on the Daimler DS420 limousine. I think I'm right in saying this is probably the last ever car that had the original iteration of the Jaguar XK engine. It's a 4.2 unit. Yeah, I think these DS420s were the last ones to have this XK engine, especially running on carbs. That's interesting. So not injected either.
The race.
Beyond the super cool Mini, we'll definitely be having a look at that later, is this wonderful little Austin A35. Saw this one here last time. It's a super original and lovely car. Now then, I want to have a look at this fantastic little Mini, the BMW Mini. Now this is not any normal Mini Cooper S, this is an R53 Cooper S, a very, very rare car, which basically means it is supercharged. So we've got the original Mini engine, of course transversely mounted, but this just adds so many mods to the engine. About 240, 250 brake horsepower, something like that. And this, and of course, the iconic supercharger whine. Absolutely love the star, like the 5-point star wheels on this one, and of course tyre writing. Tyre writing is one of the best mods you can put on your car. The owner does track this, Alton Park, Mallory Park, also the Kerberos Speed Trials thing, which is like a little course, which is quite interesting, but that's just such a purposeful looking car. That is just ace. Really, really love the look of that. Not exactly sure what it's like to have on the road. It's got a full roll cage, bucket seats and harnesses. But certainly on a track, that's going to be a proper little track weapon. That will just handle fantastically. And I'm sure it makes quite a sound as well, having a little supercharger up front. Super, super cool little racing one there. I absolutely adore this little car. It's a little Austin A35, but it's just so beautifully original. We'll start off with looking at these lovely original plates, the nice separate letters, no steel pressed plates here. Just look at the front of that. That's just such a cute and beautiful front, isn't it? Yeah, gorgeous little car. I love how it's not over restored at all. All the chrome has sort of got this slightly pitted, but it just looks great, doesn't it? And I love this colour as well. But yeah, beautifully original little Austin A30. Let's see what's going on in here. Life's a beach. What's going on here? Oh, hello, mate. Okay, then let's go back to the Austin A35. Yeah, beautifully original car. That is just so cool. Really love the look of that. Quick look at the beautiful Austin Healey frog eye here, and I like his nice and original looking ear badge. That's actually weathered quite nicely. It's a super gorgeous car. We've got a frog here that's got two eyes, so a frog two eye on the bonnet of the frog eye. Yeah, it's such a lovely car. You may recognise the owner of this car. He's also got a Triumph TR3 on some very big tyres, and to be honest, he does like his big tyres, doesn't he? Isn't it? Those look a little bit wider than the standard ones. Super gorgeous interior in this. Very nice sounding car on the way in as well. Yeah, beautiful little car. Really love the look of that. Nice and nicely debumpered as well. Looking a little bit sporty with its painted reg. Yeah, that's exactly how I'd have one of mine. I'm sure some of you guys in the comments will remember this pair. There's a front wheel drive Triumph 1300 here. Now, do these predate the Dolomite, or were they sold alongside the Dolomite? I'm sure you guys will know, so let me know in the comments. And a Saab 99 as well on the side here. I'm sure Dad will like this one. Great shape, of course, of this. Beautiful colour as well. I really like the colour of this one. Yeah, great shape, the old Saab. It's quite a rare car as well now. Well, very rare car actually. A Saab 99 GL. Super rare, cool car there. Yeah, very cool. I think we'll have a little excursion up here to get a bit of a bird's eye view. There's plenty, yeah, what a great turnout. Well, at first look, this blue one may not look quite as modified as the red one, but actually, it's all got harnesses and everything. They're all stripped out in the back. Me and Grado have just been looking. Is that a sequential gearbox? Sad. You wouldn't have a lever like that for a manual, would you? Because for a manual, you tend to have quite a short shift, don't you? But for sequential, it's like bang, bang, bang. You need a long one, don't you? Yeah, so maybe this Mini is a bit more serious than an unexperienced eye would first conclude. I do like the wide body on the other one though. Saab's got its bonnet up. What engine's this then, Dad?
It's a 1985 cc 4-cylinder.
Now, am I saying that right? Is it like the Saab bonnets, don't they like move forwards as well as they hinge up or something?
Yeah, the bonnet sort of raises up and then it tilts forward slightly.
Yeah, I was wondering that. So this is like a base spec model or something?
Yeah, so it's your regular spec.
Very, very cool.
It's nice and easy to go in, isn't it?
Have a look at the interior. So this has got the velour interior. Wow, that is clean. Look at that. The condition of that interior is amazing. Look at that. That's an incredibly clean car. Super condition. Everything is immaculate. Wow. Now, one interesting thing that I do notice about this Saab 99, apart from its absolutely stunning interior, is that the passenger even has a footrest. How posh is that? Never seen anything like that before. Well, I think we'll close off this video with the incredible engine of the VW Derby. Now that is quite a serious unit. SM Sorg Motorsport. Got a lovely pair of twin Webers. I'm sure that makes quite a nice intake sound from there. Super cool little setup there, and there's loads of space under the bonnet as well. How incredible is that? Super clean under there. Yeah, I'm sure that's quite a sporty little engine there. But I think now it's starting to rain a little bit, unfortunately, and people are starting to get into their cars and head off. So I think I'll close up the video fairly soon. Just look at those carbs. Those intakes are absolutely glorious. Sorry, I do love a good pair of twin Webers. So please remember to subscribe, like the video, comment below. Check out the channel homepage for past videos. What do you think about any of the cars here? And make sure to come back next Sunday for another automotive upload. And I'll end the video with a final look at the gorgeous intakes of those twin Webers. Thanks for watching.